Please come to the hospital immediately. Sarah is in a critical condition. Our 6-year-old daughter was in a life-death situation. I begged my husband to come to the hospital right away, but he responded harshly. Stop with the lies again. And to use our daughter's life as bait, you're the absolute worst. I am being for real. Why won't you believe me? I found myself yelling into the phone, only to be met with a dismissive clicking of the tongue, as if he couldn't stand my noise. All right, I got it. I'll have one more drink, and then I'll head back. By then, Sarah will have miraculously revived and be sleeping peacefully in bed. I'm sick and tired of your lies. Don't call me again. Bye. Wait! Before I could stop him, he hung up. I collapsed in the hospital corridor, muttering weakly, Sarah. My name is Holly. I'm 31 years old. I married my husband John, who was 42, 6 years ago, and became a stay-at-home mom. I met John at work, where he was my boss. He was good at his job, handsome, and treated everyone equally, which is what I greatly admired about him. One day, I confessed my feelings to him, and we started dating. After dating for a while, about a year later, he proposed to me. I remember tears of joy flowing uncontrollably. Soon after our marriage, I discovered I was pregnant. We did it! We're gonna raise our child with so much love and affection. I was genuinely happy to be married to the man I respect, and to be expecting his child. However, since our daughter Sarah was born, John drastically changed and became cold towards me. He started belittling me, accusing me of lying when I said I was unwell and needed a break from household chores. He wouldn't help me at all. When Sarah was a baby and often cried at night, he would shout, "She's annoying! Put her to sleep quickly!" Many times I found myself in tears, living a life far different from the family life I dreamt of. You are a stay-at-home mom, and you can't even take care of the kids while doing your chores? Damn, I picked the wrong one. Why would you say that? We are couples. We are together in this. I'm working hard outside the house. Don't burden me with housework. Besides, you complain often about being sick, but I doubt that. You're probably lying about not getting enough sleep because of kids, too. I would never lie about something like this. Household chores aside, Sarah is our daughter. You have to take part in raising her, too. If you want people to help you that badly, why don't you hire a housekeeper? That's only if you can pay out of pocket, of course. He never listens to me, and the more I plead, the more he accuses me of lying. I could take his insults, but it hurt that he didn't even care for our daughter. I didn't even know if he had any affection for Sarah. Getting divorced did cross my mind, but as a stay-at-home mom, I couldn't muster the courage to leave the house with my daughter. But I made up my mind to be a parent who can protect my daughter, Sarah. If something ever happened, it seemed that Sarah vaguely understood that her father John and I were not getting along well, but she has grown up to be such a kind child, often stroking my head gently and saying, "Thanks for everything, Mom." Each time, I would gently hug Sarah and tell her, "Mommy loves you a lot, Holly." But suddenly, one day, something very precious to me got taken away. It happened on Sarah's 6th birthday. The three of us were planning to celebrate her birthday together. I was busy with preparations since morning, and I was mostly done by before 3 p.m. Just as I was about to go buy her birthday cake, I received a call from John. "I got roped into a night out with my colleagues. I'll be home late." "Today is Sarah's birthday. You promised you would be home." "Can't be helped. I was invited out. I'm popular, you see." John seemed pleased with himself, laughing smugly. "Popular my foot. They probably just want you to pick up the tab." I've always told him to stop paying for all of his colleagues' at-night outs, but John never listened. He would simply say, "Who else is going to pay then? I'm the boss." "Can't you please come home for Sarah? She's been looking forward to celebrating her birthday with you." "Stop nagging. I'll get her a present, so that should be enough." "Fine. Whatever." I didn't wait for John's response. I hung up the phone with a loud click. Slamming down the receiver gave me a sense of relief. I shouldn't let this get to me. Today is all about Sarah. I need to keep smiling. I decided to head to the local bakery and bought a strawberry cake, Sarah's favorite. All that was left to do was wait for Sarah to come home. But Sarah didn't come home, even as the evening fell and the sun began to set. Perhaps she was playing with her friends and lost track of time. But she was too late. Just as I was considering whether to go look for her in the park or call the police, the phone rang. It was a call from the police. Holly had been in a traffic accident. What? Is Sarah all right? She's been taken to the hospital, but it seems she's still unconscious. We apologize for the delay in contacting you. It took some time to confirm her identity. I need to rush to the hospital now. I regretted not giving Sarah a note with my contact details, but there's no point crying over it now. I rushed to the hospital, my face as white as a sheet. Please, God, save her. But then I was told by a nurse that Sarah was in critical condition. I suddenly felt all the strength leave my body, and I sank to the floor. She'd gone to school just fine this morning. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I kept trying to convince myself that it was all a nightmare. However, the sound of the machines attached to my unconscious daughter brought me back to harsh reality. Oh, I need to call John, I muttered to myself as I walked out of the room to call my husband. What? It's you again? Don't call me while I'm out drinking. Sarah got in an accident and is being treated at the hospital. It might be serious. Get here now. But my husband's responded saying, Yeah, another one of your tall tales. You just love lying, don't you? I'm not lying. Please, come to the hospital right now. Sarah is in a critical condition. Don't make up such lies. Don't hold any grudge against me just because I didn't come home for her birthday. Man, you terrify me. Haha. Shut up and just come here now. Sarah she might not make it. Before I knew it, I was pleading to my husband through my tears. The fact that my husband called me a liar and wasn't showing any concern for our daughter, even at a time like this, filled me with sadness more than anger. All right, I got it. I'll have one more drink and then I'll head back. By then, Sarah will have miraculously revived and be sleeping peacefully in bed. I'm sick and tired of your lies. Don't call me again. Bye. Wait! Before I could stop him, he had hung up. In the hospital room, I sat wiping my endless tears, waiting for Sarah to wake up. But she never did. Her birthday became the day she left us forever. Why? Please open your eyes. No matter how much I called out to her, no matter how many times I touched Sarah's lifeless body, she never smiled back at me again. Sarah was such a good girl. She was a bit shy, but she was always thoughtful towards others, a caring girl, an angel. Why did she have to lose her life? Sarah! I broke down crying in the hospital, not caring about the people around me. In the end, my husband never came to the hospital that day. The day of the funeral was under a cloudy sky that seemed ready to burst into tears at any moment. John's colleagues and bosses also came to the funeral. I had met them before, but this isn't how I wanted to meet them again. Afterward, my fellow mom friends took turns talking to John and me, but it was clear they find it hard to approach me, who was barely able to stand. Every time someone spoke to John, he would pretend to cry dramatically, saying, I can't believe Sarah's gone, and then added, if my wife had called me sooner that day, I might have been able to see her while she was still alive. You're the one who accused me of lying and refused to come home. You're not even actually crying. John was seeking for everyone's empathy. At this point, I didn't even feel any anger towards him. All I wanted was to peacefully send Sarah off with all my heart. As the funeral was coming to an end, John whispered to me, Okay now, time to get divorced. You'll be free. Taken aback by his sudden words, I glared at him, biting my lip, but he quickly left to go smoke outside. Amid the whirlpool of emotions, as I continued to thank the attendees, a woman approached me. Holly, my deepest condolences. I never imagined something like this would happen. This woman was Kay, a colleague of John's and my closest friend from my office worker days. She came close and gently rubbed my shoulder. It was a moment where I felt, if only slightly, that my heart could rest since Holly passed away. 3 days after the funeral ended, I received a call from Kay while in a daze. When we met at a cafe near my home, she was very worried about me. She asked whether I was eating right and getting enough sleep. The fact that she checked in on me was more than enough for me. To be honest, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but the day Holly got into that accident, I was also drinking with John and other colleagues, and I saw when John picked up your call. Is that so? I told him he should go to the hospital. I should have urged him with more pressure. I'm sorry. There's no need for you to apologize, Kay. I know you told him to go to the hospital, and that's enough. Okay, I'm sorry. And I was really unsure about telling you this, but Kay slowly started telling me about John's recent behavior. She suspected that he might be having an affair with a young colleague named Lee at his workplace. Moreover, when everyone went home after drinking, it turned out he was alone with Lee. I hate to say it, but there have been rumors at the office about John and Lee. People are suspecting that they might be having an affair. I see. The fact that I was the only one unaware of this, being manipulated by John, filled me with anger. Kay, there's something I want to ask you. Yeah, you want to gather evidence of John's infidelity, right? I'll help. Kay, my best friend from my office worker days, already knew what I wanted to say. With Kay's assistance, I decided to gather evidence of my husband's affair at work. A week later, I got to learn more about John's affair from Kay. Apparently, John and his mistress were openly flirtatious at work, and they would frequently leave the office together after work and disappear into a hotel district. Kay had followed them and took photos and videos of them together. Kay, thank you for your all this. Holly, are you okay? If there's anything else I can help you with, don't hesitate to ask. I fought back the tears that threatened to spill at Kay's words of concern. Forcing a smile, that night, I presented my husband with a signed divorce paper. Let's get a divorce, please. Lucky me. I wanted to break up with you too. So I'm demanding $30,000 in compensation from both of you. What? That's too much just for a divorce. Gosh, you're all about money. I also know about your affair, and I have solid proof. I showed my husband the photos and videos of him with Lee that Kay had taken. He was shocked for a second, but quickly regained his composure and glared at me. Lies again. You really are a terrifying woman. You can always edit these pictures these days. Which detective agency did you hire? I knew you'd say that. At this point, Kay walked in from the room next door. Out of concern for me, she insisted to stay with me and had been waiting in there. My husband was taken aback by the unexpected guest. Why? These photos and videos aren't fabricated. I took them myself. You are the absolute worst. Your daughter has passed away and you're cheating too? If you don't admit it, I'll report it to our boss. Please don't do that. So, you admit that you were cheating, right? Yeah, I guess. My husband grudgingly admitted with a grimace. Okay, so we're getting divorced. Make sure you pay me alimony. However, even after admitting his affair, John refused to pay alimony. If you're going to be so stubborn, I'll consult a lawyer. Do you, a housewife, even have the money to hire a lawyer? I've been working online this whole time so that I would be able to raise Sarah on my own in case we ever get divorced. I was only going to use this money for Sarah, but I'll use it to get back at you. Until now, John had been looking down on me, even when I confronted him with the evidence of his infidelity. He seemed unfazed, but all of a sudden, he began to panic. Whoa, hold on. This is some kind of joke, right? Ha! If you think this is a joke, why don't you try me? I won't settle for some lukewarm settlement, just so you know. At my cold words, John suddenly fell to his knees and began to plead. I started dating Lee because she hit on me first. It's not my fault. He began making excuses. I don't have the money to pay alimony, so reconsider this, please. He was rubbing his head on the floor, shedding tears. Yeah, and I bet those tears are fake too. Goodbye. Ignoring my husband, I picked up the Boston bag I had prepared and left home with Kay. Later, I hired a lawyer and successfully filed for divorce and damages. Of course, I also managed to get Lee to pay $25,000 in damages. John lost his family, his money, and got dumped by Lee right away, who said, I only dated you because you were a big spender. I didn't expect things to turn out like this. Moreover, when their affair at the office was exposed, they were called in by their CEO and, according to Kay, were transferred to different rural areas. After my divorce, I moved back to my parents' house and continued working from home. I had Sarah interred at my family cemetery back home. I am still grieving, but from now on, I intend to live my remaining years quietly and peacefully.